Hey, it's your boy Bots83 for Successful Convicts, and you know what day it is. You know what time it is. You know what time of the day it is. It's time for prison stories. And today's prison story is brought to you by successfulconvicts.com. Check out the website. It's not all the way up to the level I want it to be, but it is up and it got some stories on there. So, first thing I want you to do is subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Like this video. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you dislike. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to hear. So, today's prison story coming to you. Hey, it's your boy Bots83 for Successful Convicts, and I'm back with today's prison story. What happens when the captain, now you know in the prison you got the warden, you got the assistant warden, and you got the captain, if you didn't know. What happens when the captain catches you with raw meat? I'm gonna tell you. So, you go to prison, right? You issued a job, well, federal prison anyway. State prison, I hear it's a little different. You issued a job. My job, at first, was in the rec. But then me, having a 151-month sentence, working in rec, I got to thinking, how can I hustle in rec? And I really couldn't come up with no ideas because I wasn't fit like a personal trainer. You can't really get a lot of money off of getting the weights for people. So I said, you know what? I need to go to the kitchen. So I worked in the kitchen. In the kitchen, there's so many hustles because it's food. You get to eat. So there's less as far as commissary you got to get. And then, like, for instance, like me, I didn't eat pork. So by me working in the kitchen, I had my choices of stuff I could eat. Because, of course, you working in the kitchen, you get certain privileges. So eventually, after years and years and years of being there, you get to moving and grooving and meeting people and stuff like that. One of the top jobs in the kitchen that was really wanted was the butcher. Because in the butcher shop, you have all the meats. Like Arby say, we have the meats. That's what the butchers had. The butchers had access to all the meats because in the butcher shop is where they proportion the meats to be served, to be cooked by the cooks. I was a cook. And then, eventually I became the grade 1 cook, which the grade 1 cook is the top cook. He's responsible for the meals getting put out. He gets paid more for it, but you know, he kind of like has to, or she in the women prisons, has to delegate the different duties, you know, okay, you know, because on our shift, I believe it was like 7 cooks. So, you know, it's prison, so it's not like a kitchen where people really wanted to work there. I mean, but in prison even, some people want to work there, some people don't. So what I would do as a grade 1 cook, when I delegate the jobs, first, I never told people what to do because I understood. I'm in prison. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. You ain't no bigger than me. You're an inmate like I am. So I always ask people, what would you like to do? What would you like to do? What would you like to do? And pretty much, if you're a good person, you're a good leader, then people are going to follow your lead. And you know, I had the respect of the people who I work with. So they understood, and I understood. Like I told them, every day you come in here, it's not going to be a good day. You might be feeling down about being in prison. You might, you know, got a bad letter, just not feeling it today. So every day is not going to be the same. You're not going to come in here and like, okay, well, I always make the potatoes. I'm going to make the potatoes. Today you might not. You might be like, man, forget the potatoes. So anyway, I always ask people what they wanted to do. Eventually, I worked my way up to where I got cool with the butchers because being a grade 1 cook, I would have to correlate with the butchers to make sure everything was set up and, you know, where it was in the butcher shop and stuff like that. Eventually, I worked my way up to where I was in the butcher shop helping them. Once I got in the butcher shop, I seen the operation they had going on with the meat. And like I said, when you're in prison, you got to find a hustle. You don't have to, especially if you well off and you got money in your books. I wasn't. So I had to find a hustle. My hustle was in the kitchen. On the outside, when we get the meat to cook, so much of that is taken for the people. And as a grade 1 cook, I used to have to delegate that too, because everybody wants meat. First, of course, the cooks got access to it. Then you got you got pots and pans, you got facilities, you got the bakers, you got all these different people. So, long story short, worked my way into the butcher shop. Now I'm getting access to the meats before the cooks even get the meat. So now I got access to more meat. So, on this particular day, making my usual run, I want to say, I probably had a good 7-8 pounds of raw ground beef on me, tucked in my shirt. And I'm coming down the compound, and it's like, you know, you're in prison because you're a criminal. 8 times out of 10. Like I said, there are some innocent people in prison if you watch my other videos. But you still have that criminal mindset. You know, it's still that thrill of doing something and get away with it. So, as I used to walk to the compound, it would just be like such a rush when you make it to the compound with a load on you. So this particular day, I got the raw ground beef. I had a couple bell peppers, onions, and I had some eggs because that's when I first started going vegetarian. Well, not vegetarian. I didn't eat pork, didn't eat beef. I had quit eating chicken, so I was down to just turkey, some fish, but mostly vegetables because I used to eat tuna and mackerel and stuff that's on the compound. I mean, on the commissary. But my celly was a vegetarian. He didn't eat no meat, so me and him was cool, and we used to eat together a lot. So what I started doing is eating no meat as well, so that way anything I had, he could eat too. So it wasn't never like, oh man, this got turkey in it. And he'd be like, dang, I was hungry. So because that was my guy, me and him got cool, I started eating no meat. So anyway, so I'm coming, and the eggs, I eat the eggs. So coming down the compound, everything's looking cool. Got my coat on because it's cool, it's cold, it's wintertime, so it helps the camouflage. So as I'm walking up the stairs, going in the dorm, as I hit the door, the captain, it was a lady captain too. She was Native American lady, and she was mean. She was just a bitter woman. I don't know what her gripe was, but she was just always angry and always like whatever she could do to screw an inmate over, she would do. And she was just always angry. So as I'm coming in the dorm, she's coming out. And she says, oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. Here's another inmate with a puffy coat. So she like, come over here, inmate. So I'm like, all right. So she pats my coat. She like, what do you have in your pockets? So I'm like, well, I got some eggs. So I take the eggs out. So she pat me again. What else you got in your pocket? So I'm like, oh, I got some onions and pepper. So she like, all right, is that it? I'm like, yeah. So she pats me, and she touches. She like, what's that? I'm like, oh, some ground beef. She like, why did you just lie to me? I said, I didn't lie to you. She said, yes, you did. I just asked you what else you had in your pockets. I was like, I don't have nothing else in my pockets. My pockets are empty. She's like, oh, okay. Well, since I'm not being specific, put everything you got right here. It was a garbage can. Put everything you got right here. So I pulled the meat out. Bam. I know I'm hit. Because raw meat is automatic going to the hole because they figure people got raw meat, they can get sick because you trying to put this stuff on coolers and stuff like that. So it's kind of like an instant offense, would take you straight to the hole. So she like, all right, since I wasn't being specific, put everything you got right here. So I put all the stuff right there. She takes the meat. She don't even care about the other stuff. So she's like, I'm gonna give this to your boss up there at the kitchen. So you got the guards up there that work the kitchen. So I'm just like, oh man, I'm finna go to the hole. I'm just worried. You know what I'm saying? So first thing I have to do I had to go talk to the food administrator. Food administrator was cool. I walk in there. He said, oh yeah. He's like, hey, you're in that position, man, and you know, it's tempting and you just got caught. He's like, everybody does it. He was like, but you got caught. So he's like, I'm gonna let him deal with it. So I say, okay. I go to the other kitchen guard. So I'm like, yeah, so I talked to the food administrator and he said, talk to you. So he was like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. So I'm like, what do you mean, don't worry about it? He's like, yeah, you know, things happen, man. Just be more careful. So I'm like, okay, am I gonna get some extra duty or something? He like, man, you working up, because at that time I was working, because like I said, I was helping the butchers. So that's a 7-day-a-week job, and they pretty much work breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals. So I was going up there to help them, and plus helping myself all the meals 7 days a week. So I explained to him, I said, look, man, I don't want people to start talking and saying, you know, like I'm snitching or something, because I got caught with the meat by the captain, and I ain't go to the hole. He like, man, don't worry about what they say. So I'm like, well, let me get some extra duty or something. He like, well, you know what? If you want to do extra duty, do some extra duty. Give yourself some extra duty. So, I mean, I escaped that. So that was cool, you know, and that's my story, you know, and a lot of people might think, man, he did something because how he didn't go to the hole, he got caught by the captain and boo out the bound. But that's what happened, you know. I was a hard worker, and, you know, I think the guards know too, because they can read your paperwork. They know who snitches and who not. And then I just was a stand-up guy all the way around. You know, I helped out, like when I seen problems, like if I seen two guys about to get into it, and it was a prison camp, so it couldn't have been nothing too bad. So I would always step in. And it was even one time the guard told me, yeah, go talk to them, man, get their mind right. Because they about to fight about something stupid. And I went to talk to him like, come on, man. Y'all gonna go to the hole about something stupid? And I ironed that out. So I kind of like had the respect in the prison from, you know, inmates as well as the guards. You know, hey, you know, that guy there, he's not a troublemaker. You know, he's doing time. You know, he don't do nothing outrageous, like I wasn't known for having cell phones, bringing in cigarettes or drugs or nothing like that. So they kind of like let me be. But want you to, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Like the video, because I know you liked it. And leave me a comment. Tell me if you liking these prison stories. Because, hey, I don't have the gory stories, but I do have stories. So, until next time, this is Bonte 3 for Successful Convicts, and have a successful day. Wow.